Doing these ones back to back, but hey, it's all good. This deck profiles is a suggestion that a friend of mine's been wanting to see since, I don't know, ages ago, so here you go, Kevin. You get a little shout out now, I guess. The list isn't anything too special. Sal's kind of been in a rough spot, honestly, the past few ban lists, with Gazelle and Circle still being at one, and with Stalio being banned in general. I feel like the deck suffers a little bit from being able to play at higher tier events, but it does have ways to playing around some of its counterparts, with Will the Salamangreat being a good extender card and being able to help play around Nibiru and stuff. But I do think one of the things that'll help the deck become better is if we get 3 Circle. Not only is it a search card, it's actually a protection card as well, which will help against things like Nibiru on your turn, because reincarnating a Sunlight Wolf is a 6 summon. But anyway, getting with the deck list and talk about just choices and stuff. 3 Nibiru, it's one of the better hand traps against combo decks. Things like Dragon Link and Diatron combo a lot, so I was just a generic good card. 2 Jaguar. The Salamangreat ratio should be, like standard by this point. Like there shouldn't be any like, oh my god, why are you playing these like salad lineups? But 2 Jaguar, it's one of the most important salad monsters. It's your recursion card. It does piercing, which it can come up in the scenarios where the Nibiru token has like no defense, so you can just do piercing over it. It's very niche, but something that can happen, so do remember. 1 Lady Debug. I don't think Debug's good this format. There are too many no adding hand traps going around right now because this is more of a control-like format. So there's Ash, Droll, and Ogre, Gamma. Because I personally don't think she's as strong, but she's still a 1-card access code talker. So still a solid card, but not as important in my opinion. 1 Falco, it's a Gazelle send, it's recovery plays, it's mostly for later turns, it helps make rank 4s as well. Mining, discard, Jaguar is still strong, and if you want to have access to rank 4, Falco is that access as well. 1 Gazelle, we can't play 3, kinda wish we could sometimes, but play with what we got. This is probably a controversial topic. I personally think 3 Flame Buffalo is better than Lady Debug right now, just because Debug getting like hand trapped hurts a lot, but Buffalo gets you deeper into the deck, which is just more copies of Will at this point, or I guess Sign Up Mining for later on. It's the only reason why I think it's better, along with Foxy being like Buffalo discard Foxy with any continuous spell just helps you get back into combo. 2 Spinny. It's a resource card. I'm not playing any rank 3s. I don't think there's any rank 3s worth it. I'm also not playing Paralux Seed. Personally, I'm not too big on it. I haven't found any cards that are, like, make me really want to play it. But if you do pair Paralux Seed, I do think El Mirage is a very good card with that because it helps you unbrick with hand traps. But Spinny helps you just get bodies on board. It triggers Wolf. It makes Splash Mage. It makes Update Jammer. Just a solid card. Foxy. I'm playing 2. 2's I think it's always been normal. I actually haven't looked at a lot of solid lists recently. But with Foxy, it's a Duality, which is strong for solid cards, but it's also recursion to pop face-up spell traps and just to get a body on board, and a discard for salad. So you can get like Jaguar, Falco, Spinny, all in the graveyard. But it's that recursion that matters, and there's some pretty decent decks that have face-up spell traps right now, so like it can deal with those if needed. For one of the hand traps, I'm playing 3 Ash. Just a generically good hand trap, and you can add it back off a Sunlight Wolf. I kind of want to talk about her a bit. This is Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. It's been a few years since she was ever really talked about because of Nightmare Mermaid, but what she does is when you link off with her, her effect activates, and you can special summon to your opponent's side of the board, and the controller of the card cannot special summon monsters except link monsters. But it's a level 2 Cyber, so it's searchable by Silent Mining, which comes up every now and then, and it's a way to out things like Nibiru, and then when it's on your opponent's board, they can't special summon anything. Okay? It's not like they could normal summon. They can't summon incantations anymore either. It's stuck on the board. They have to waste their battle phase to out this, especially during game 1. It's just a hard card for Diatron to deal with, in my opinion. Droll and Lockbird. There's not much to talk about. You can't add. It's Droll. Pot of Desires is banish 10, draw 2. As long as Sal's in the game, Sal's probably going to play this card unless they get a better draw spell, which I don't think they will anytime soon. +1s are +1. Signet Mining, or Ashbait. If this resolves, it does add things like Gazelle, but it can also add Nightmare Ibli, so you can now have access to that Node Nibiru stuff. I think it's worth it to search Ibli. I really think this card's underrated. I don't know. I'm going to probably get a lot of hate, but try her out. I think she's worth it. One Called by the Grave. It's a one of. I actually didn't know what to put in the spot, so why not stop some hand traps that are here and there. One Circle. It adds a monster. It's also protection. Personally, I think this deck would be better with at least 3 Circle, but until then, we have to play the one. Free Will. It helps you extend, helps you play around Nibiru. This is why I think Sal's in a rough spot, because a lot of the times when you're playing the deck you notice how different the deck plays if you open will versus if you don't open will. And I really just want to open this card most of the time. If I see this card, I'm very, very happy. And I usually win most of my games if I do see Will of the Salamangreat. Sanctuary. You search it off of Phalanx. It's your field spell. You play 2 Rage and 2 Roar. With Desires, I think playing 2 and 2 is correct because you can banish them and still maybe have access to them. But if you also open one of them, you can just send the other one. I used to play a lot more trap heavy, but I slowly started not because, well, too many hand traps type of thing. So as an altar guys, it's Salamangreat. It's a great deck. For the extra deck, we have 3 Phalanx. This is protection, it's a field spell, it helps you combo. Not really too much to say about it, but you at least need 2 for a 1-card Lady Debug combo, but also it helps in the grind game. It helps you consistently trigger Gazelle. Splash Mage. You only ever make this when you go in for Access Code Talker OTK. Very important card in my opinion, very cool card, but hey, they won't stop. It's also a water, and if you don't know, Access Code Talker has to banish with different attributes, so it's 1 extra pop as well. Sunlight Wolf. By far, how is this not an ulti yet Link monster? It's recursion. It's double recursion. It adds spell traps, it adds monsters. It can recycle Ash, which is really cool, and does come up. But I can't talk too much about Sunlight Wolf. It's just a generically very good card right now. Well, not even right now, it's in general. I like Nightmare Phoenix. When it pops spell traps, there's a lot of spell traps decks this format, but when it's co-linked, the co-linked monsters can't be destroyed by battle, which means if you have a co-link to Wolf, it can't be destroyed by battle now. And Wolf is kind of small. He is at 1800. But also he can't be destroyed, so you can save your Phalanx for things like if your opponent tries to lightning storm your monsters or something, you can use the Phalanx to protect him. And now they have to run over by battle because of the lightning storm call monsters. Update Jammer. You use this to make Access Code Talker or Borreload attack twice. Really solid card in my opinion. I'm playing transcode because you just use these two to make access code talker, but this lets access code talker just gain more attack. Yeah, you can target this dude, I guess, gain 2,000, but sometimes that extra 300 pops up more. You can cut this completely, and you can play another rank 4 if you like, or you can play a rank 3, number 73, I believe. I cannot spell today. Not 73. Number 75. This card's pretty good. It helps you also play around in beards, negate both players' draw. It's an option if you don't want to play Transcode Code Talker. I don't know why my Helios got separated. 2 copies of Helio. He's your boy. He will always be your boy. He makes things go to 0. He likes to punch over them. Like a boy does. Not sharing cheese puffs. It's Helio. He spins back row on summon, and he can also change attack to 0. Personally, I play in 2 different artworks, but hey, more power to you if you don't want to. The access code talker. You're big, I'm gonna punch you in the face, boy. You use it, you make it, you pop cards, you OTK. That's stupid. Overload. If a game gets dragged out too long, or if you're against Dragoons and you don't want to punch over it, you can make a clock, update gem or not clock. The people always call this underclock. Update plus 2 monsters make load. It can then make load, attack twice, steal, and you can steal 2 of your opponent's monsters. And if you steal a Dragoons, you can use that opponent's Dragoons against them as a negate for the turn. It's not like Salad don't want things in graveyard. You have plenty of discard fodder, like Jaguar, Velco, Spinny, Foxy, Dead Desires, Dead Mining. Pretty solid. Abyss Dweller. Yu-Gi-Oh's at a point where everything activates in graveyard, so we keep making a rank 4 that says no graveyard. It's not much to talk about really with Dweller, but very solid card still. I normally don't make side decks, especially on online things. I usually just say side deck for your locals and stuff, so that's why I never usually side. But since this is a deck that I think is a lot more competitive than a lot of the other things I play, because I play a lot of bad decks, I just like to. I actually made a side deck for this, and I will talk about some of them for a little bit. Artifact Lancia. It stops things like banishing. There's a few road decks too. I noticed the Orcus matchup. It's very rare, but the Orcus matchup's honestly, in my opinion, one of the little bit of harder matchups for the deck. So like that's one implication it has, but it's also good against Edlich because you can Lancia them, and then they can't float on their turn. So it's nice. Lightning Storm. It blows out Ultrageist. You use this against Edlich, and then you just OTK them. Lightning Storm. Good card. 3 Tactical Talents. I actually thought about main decking this for a while, because especially since everyone's hand trapping you right now, it's a draw card, it's a mind control, or it's a Forceful Sentry. I think that's what the card list is called. Hey man, if my opponent negates something and I take their Dragoons, fine by me. Cosmic Cyclone. I like this for, of course, any back row matchup. It makes Edlich matchups so much easier because they flip the horse or Conquistador or whatever they're called. I honestly don't really know their names off the top of my head right now. You just banish it. Problem solved. These 2, Order and Skill Drain. They are both cards that can hurt you, but they also hurt your opponent. One of the big differences is if you want to turn it off, just use the effect of Foxy. Discard a Salamangreat, summon Foxy, pop the back row. Since Foxy will resolve technically in graveyard and doesn't activate on field, it can pop the Skill Drain. And Skill Drain just hurts enough decks right now. I had one extra spot for the side deck, so I chose Red Reboot for here, but it's not the worst in Salad. Your opponent actually trap you, Red Reboot, you make access code talker and you OTK them. GG no rebud. I don't know if you guys can hear, but this Dev Pro music is so tiring. This is a deck though I love, but one of my problems. No, Stalio. I really think this deck would be better if we had more circles of Stalio. And it makes playing this deck a little bit harder nowadays. It has a good following though, and I hope to see more from it. But this is my list. It's not too much to talk about just because Salad's kind of been this like fixated self of a deck now, and there's not too much you can do. Most of the tech cards are now like, how can I play random Biru, or how many hand drops do I play, type of thing. And so already, this is my take on the Salamangreat deck. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.